Hywel ab Owain Gwynedd, Wales, Prince of Gwynedd in 1170, a Welsh poet and military leader. Hywel was the son of Owain Gwynedd, Prince of Gwynedd, and an Irishwoman named Pythog. In recognition of this, he was also known as Hywel ab Gwyddeles. Hywel was also known as the Poet Prince for his bardic skills. Biography. Hywel's father Owain and uncle Cadwaladr came to blows in 1143 when Cadwaladr was implicated in the murder of Prince Anarod ap Gruffydd of Hywel, Owain's ally and future son-in-law, on the eve of Anarod's wedding to Owain's daughter. Owain followed a diplomatic policy of binding other Welsh rulers to Gwynedd through dynastic marriages, and Cadwaladr's border dispute and murder of Anarod threatened Owain's efforts and credibility. As ruler of Gwynedd, Owain stripped Cadwaladr of his lands and dispatched Hywel to Ceredigion, where he burned Cadwaladr's castle at Aberystwyth. Cadwaladr fled to Ireland and hired a Norse fleet from Dublin, bringing the fleet to Abermannau to compel Owain to reinstate him. Taking advantage of the brotherly strife, and perhaps with the tacit understanding of Cadwaladr, the marcher lords mounted incursions into Wales. Realizing the wider ramifications of the war before him, Owain came to terms and reconciled with Cadwaladr, restored to his lands. Peace between the brothers held until 1147, when an unrecorded event occurred which led Owain's sons Hywel and Gwynedd to drive Cadwaladr out of Rhion and Ceredigion, with Cadwaladr retreating to Mon. Again an accord was reached, with Cadwaladr retaining Aberfraw until a more serious breach occurred in 1153, when he was forced into exile in England, where his wife was the sister of Gilbert de Clare, 2nd Earl of Hertford, and the niece of Ranulph de Gernan, 2nd Earl of Chester. In 1146 news reached Prince Owain ap Gwynedd of Gwynedd that his favoured eldest son and heir, the elding Rhion, died. Owain was overcome with grief, falling into a deep melancholy from which none could console him, until news reached him that Mold Castle in Tyngell had fallen to Gwynedd, that he had still a country for which to live. Wrote historian Sir John Edward Lloyd. As the eldest surviving son and edling, Hywel succeeded his father in 1170 as Prince of Gwynedd in accordance with Welsh law and custom. However, the new prince was immediately confronted by a coup instigated by his stepmother Christine, Dowager Princess of Gwynedd. The Dowager Princess plotted to have her eldest son Dafydd usurp the throne of Gwynedd from Hywel, and with Gwynedd divided between Dafydd and her other sons Rhodri and Cynan. The speed with which Christine and her sons acted suggests that the conspiracy may have had roots before Owain's death. Additionally, the complete surprise of the elder sons of Owain suggests that the scheme had been a well-kept secret. Within months of his succession, Hywel was forced to flee to Ireland, returning later that year with a Hiberno Norse army and landing on Mon, where he may have had Maelgwn's support. Dafydd himself landed his army on the island and caught Hywel off guard at Pentraeth, defeating his army and killing Hywel. Following Hywel's death and the defeat of the legitimist army, the surviving sons of Owain came to terms with Dafydd. Iorwerth was apportioned the commotes of Arfon and Arlychwed, with his seat at Dolweddelyn, with Maelgwn retaining Ynys Mon, and with Cynan receiving Meirionnydd. However, by 1174 Iorwerth and Cynan were both dead, and Maelgwn and Rhodri were imprisoned by Dafydd, who was now master over the whole of Gwynedd. The 7 sons of Hywel's foster father, Cadifer, were killed while defending him in this battle, and were commemorated in verse. The sons of Cadifer, a noble band of brothers in the hollow above Pentraeth, were full of daring and of high purpose. They were cut down beside the foster brother. Hywel was an accomplished poet, and 8 of his poems have been preserved. The best known is probably Gwrafedd Hywel ab Owain Gwynedd, in which he praises his father's kingdom of Gwynedd, both its natural beauties and its beautiful women. Other poems include the earliest known love poetry in the Welsh language, and may show a French influence. Hywel is known to have sired the following sons: Gwrafedd ap Hywel ab Owain Gwynedd, Caswallon ap Hywel ab Owain Gwynedd. In fiction, Hywel appears in the historical mystery novel The Summer of the Danes, one of the Cadfael Chronicles by Ellis Peters. Hywel ab Owain is also written about in Sharon K. Penman's novels When Christ and His Saints Slept, and Time and Chance. He also appears in the Sarah Woodbury, Gareth and Gwen medieval mystery series of books.